Debbie Reynolds, From Heartbreak to Hollywood Victory. I remember the exact moment my world shattered into a million glittering pieces, like the sequins falling from one of my MGM gowns. It wasn't just the phone call that destroyed me. It was the silence that followed. Debbie, the voice on the other end trembled. Eddie and Elizabeth, they're together. The whole world knows. My hand gripped the receiver so tightly I thought it might crack. Outside my Beverly Hills home, I could hear the circus beginning, camera shutters clicking like hungry insects, reporters shouting my name like vultures circling fresh prey. My husband of 4 years, Eddie Fisher, had left me for Elizabeth Taylor. My supposed best friend. The woman I'd comforted when her husband Mike Todd died in that plane crash just months before. The irony was suffocating. I had held Elizabeth while she wept. I had made her soup. I had watched my own husband comfort her, never imagining he was falling in love with her grief. Mommy. My daughter Carrie's tiny voice cut through my agony. She was barely 2, standing in the doorway in her pink pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. Behind her, baby Todd was crying in his crib. They needed me. The world was watching to see if America's sweetheart would crumble. That's when something inside me shifted. Not broke, shifted. Like tectonic plates rearranging to form something stronger. I walked to the mirror, stared at my tear-streaked face, and made a decision that would define the rest of my life. I wasn't going to be the victim of this story. I was going to be its author. The next morning, I did something that shocked everyone, including myself. I smiled for the cameras. Not a broken, brittle smile, a real one. When reporters thrust microphones in my face asking how I felt about the scandal, I said, I wish them both well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have children to raise and a career to build. But behind closed doors, my real work began. Eddie had left me with more than heartbreak, he'd left me with crushing debt. His gambling, his reckless spending, his failed business ventures. While he was falling in love, I discovered we were nearly bankrupt. The man who'd abandoned me for glamour had left me holding bills that could destroy us all. So I did what no one expected. I paid them. Every single one. I worked 16-hour days. Movies, television, nightclub acts, anything that paid. I opened a dance studio, teaching young hopefuls the same routines that had made me famous. Each dollar earned felt like a small victory against the narrative everyone expected me to follow. But the real masterstroke. The dresses. It started innocently enough. MGM was selling off costumes from their golden age, treating priceless pieces of cinema history like garage sale items. I saw Judy Garland's ruby slippers about to be tossed in a dumpster and something in me snapped. These weren't just costumes, they were dreams made tangible. They were the magic I'd been part of creating. If I couldn't keep the marriage, I told my assistant one day, carefully hanging Elizabeth's costume from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof next to my own Singin' in the Rain dress, I could at least keep the dresses. The irony wasn't lost on me. I was collecting the very costumes that represented the golden age of Hollywood, an age that was dying, just like my marriage had. But I wasn't just collecting them. I was preserving them. Cataloging them. Turning my pain into purpose. Over the years, as Eddie's career faded and Elizabeth moved from husband to husband, my collection grew. 3,000 costumes. Marilyn Monroe's 7-year-itch dress. Clark Gable's Gone with the Wind jacket. Every piece told a story, and now I was the guardian of those stories. The vindication came 20 years later. Eddie, broke and forgotten, called me. His voice was different, smaller, ashamed. Debbie, I was wondering, could you help me? I'm in trouble. I could have hung up. Should have, maybe. Instead, I listened. Then I said something that surprised us both, of course. Not because I still loved him. Not because I forgave him completely. But because I had learned something in those years of collecting Hollywood's memories. Everyone deserves to be remembered for more than their worst mistake. When I finally opened my Hollywood museum, displaying those 3,000 costumes I'd saved from destruction, reporters asked me why I'd done it all. Why I'd worked so hard to preserve the past instead of simply moving on. I looked at those dresses, each one representing a dream, a story, a piece of magic someone had created, and I knew the answer. I didn't just survive the scandal, I told them, running my fingers along the beadwork of a 1940s evening gown. I organized it, cataloged it, and made it pay for something beautiful. Because that's what you do when the world expects you to break. You don't just put yourself back together, you build something magnificent from the pieces. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more incredible stories to come.